With Irish Show. With Irish Show. With Irish Show. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. What are you doing? Don't do this to me, Harry! The Ohio State. It's Ohio State! What do you mean, the? It's a poison. I almost stroked out and died over it. I'm glad to be at the party. I'm mad we're this late. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. That helps the defense without them even doing a damn thing. Doing a damn thing. The call-in line. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. That's right. That's right. Welcome back, everybody, to the Always Irish After Dark show. Look at the call-in line today, baby. It's popping. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. A lot of people are dialing up already. I see the numbers backed up on the call-in log. 937-618-443-317. You're in heaven. Happy to be here. Happy to have you here on an energetic Saturday night. No, TXND, we're not doing a 4-hour show tonight. It's been a long afternoon. We're not doing a 4-hour show. I can promise you that. However, some of these comments, I got to address. Some people are going after my people. I'm going to have to address some of this. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to have you guys here. As always, you know the deal. You can find the program on YouTube. Do subscribe if you haven't yet. I don't know what you're doing. A lot of you guys are here every day. If you don't hit subscribe by now, I don't know what you're waiting for. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps me as well. Notifications on. You and I both know why. That way you're alerted every time a new episode drops. You don't want to miss it. Twitter, search bar, Always Irish Rat. Always Irish Inc. Emails, alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only. Anywhere you want me, you can get me to call-in line. We already went over it. 312-988-15. You type all that into your phone, and then you talk to Always Irish. It's beautiful. Fighting Irish Wire. Here's what you do. Every morning you wake up and you're thinking, I love Notre Dame. I wish I could have more information about the Irish. Booty-doo-doo. You type in Fighting Irish Wire. Read articles from myself and our wonderful, well-rounded staff, always on the top of the news. You're not going to miss it. So USA Today, Fighting Irish Wire, type it up, okay? Happy to be here. Here's the deal. This is unfortunate, you guys. This is unfortunate news. I don't want to be this guy. I don't want to be the one that breaks rough news to you. I got to tell you though, I got a couple tough things to go over tonight. I know. I realize. I know. Usually, look at this call-in line filling up. What are people doing on a Saturday night? Here's the deal. I realize Saturday night, it has a reputation here of being a little laid back. We're going to have some fun. We're going to kick some ideas around, like whatever. I get all that, but I got to tell you guys, we got some serious stuff to go over. And it's not something that I planned on a Saturday night, but I got to tell you, when there's news, there's news. When there's things to worry about with Notre Dame, there's things to worry about. It doesn't matter if it's a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or a Saturday night. I got rough news for you guys. I got a couple topics to go over. I don't think everybody's going to like. And I'll be honest, I don't like them. But we got a couple rough things to go over here, and I got to cover it. So I was hesitant. I didn't want to make these notes on a Saturday night. It's happening. All right. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to do the introductions. We're going to do the roll call. I got a bunch of phone calls, but I got to go over some of this stuff has been on my list to go over with you people all week. And it just hasn't happened for one reason or another. We get into the call-in show Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then we get busy and I get off the beaten path into whatever. I don't like these topics, but I got to go over with you. So that's what we're going to do. Let's get into the roll call. See who's here tonight on a Saturday night. Checking in. What do we got? I'm going to tell you this right now. Look at this. Brother Ray, who used to be somebody else around here. I have a strong suspicion. By strong suspicion, I mean, I know he was somebody else around here who is no longer allowed around here, but now Brother Ray's here. Pat ruined the night shows by being a feature part of it. I won't be watching. The guy talks over everybody and bans viewers who disagree. Number one. Here's number one. I don't think Pat's banned anybody. I don't think Pat's banned anyone. Okay. I don't think he has. He has the ability to, but I don't think he's done it. He would not do that without my approval. Part two of this is tonight's going to be a solo show. Pat could call in, but he's not going to be on the air. So this is going to be a solo show. Here's part number three. Do you guys think I randomly find people that I would have as a partial co-host of some of my shows? After 8 years of doing this, you don't think that there's a rhyme or reason to the things I do? The reason I have Pat on this show at times is threefold. Number one, he knows his Notre Dame history, and I have no questions about that. Pat can handle his own. You're not going to out history Patrick Cotter. That's number one. Here's number two. Even if he's wrong, you're probably not going to out-argue Patrick Cotter. He knows how to defend a point, create an argument, philosophically, like whatever. I know he can hold his own on this program. And here's number three. We've known each other over 20 years. There is a rhythm. There is a back and forth. I know how he thinks. He knows how I think. It is not a coincidence that if I ever have a co-host on this show, who it is. That's not random. That is all planned, okay? Now, Patrick might call in tonight from his luxury golf vacation. I don't know. But if you just want me, you're going to get it. But it's great to me that Pat is that lightning rod and has half the people that love him, half the people that hate him. Beautiful. Absolutely love it. Look at this. We got a $10 holler. $10 holler. Well, I'm going to watch and chip in for some calls. I appreciate that. You know the deal. Every dollar that comes in here goes to fund the program here. The streaming software, to call in line, that's what it all goes to. Oh, what else do we got? Drunk Vigo, good to see you, Drunk. Good to see you. Matt Miller, good evening. Always Irish Nation. College football season must be getting close. All of the Michigan trolls out in droves this week on Twitter. Unbelievable. I'm telling you guys. I mean, I know a lot's going on with these conferences changing and all that stuff. The Michigan people, they are on their high horse. Now, I get it. Their recruiting has taken off. It's better than I want it to be for this current class. And I don't like that. I don't want to admit it, but I have to admit it if I'm being honest, okay? Michigan's class is on the rise. They're doing a really, really good job in this current class. But these people are on me and everybody else. These Michigan people are acting like they accomplished something. They made the same amount of playoffs as Notre Dame and have the same result. Embarrassing losses. And they're talking down to me on Twitter like they're on their high horse. Like I'm supposed to care they beat Ohio State and won the Big Ten, but then get blown out in the playoff, and I'm supposed to act like I'm impressed. So I don't know where that's coming from, But you're right. They are on their high horse and they're riding Notre Dame. So I don't know. Listen, I get it. To them, winning the Big Ten, getting over Ohio State and all that, that's the end all be all, whatever. I'm looking at the playoff and I see them making it just like we made it. I see them get embarrassed just like we got embarrassed. I don't see anybody as much to brag about as far as that goes. But what do I know? Apparently, I know nothing. C. Jones, I need more Always Irish After Dark, please. Trust me, I've thought about it. I might get into the summer and have so many football thoughts rattling around in this brain matter, whatever's left. I might just fire it up at all times of the night. That's coming. I thought about doing a week called Live Always Irish Live Week, where instead of recording regular videos or whatever cracks into my cranium, I go live. You could be there for it, call in on it, whatever it is. Whenever it is, I go live. That might be later in the summer. When we get closer to Notre Dame football, I might do live week where we just go live and whatever happens, happens. I think that'd be a good social experiment. Look at this. The Format Podcast, Irish After Dark, huh? John is already wild. Let's see if the freak still comes out at night. Hashtag the Format Podcast. If you haven't yet, go subscribe to Bruce's channel. He's a Notre Dame guy stuck down there in Jacksonville, Florida, in the middle of SEC land and a little overlap of ACC land. Support our guy, Bruce, all right? He's on an island by himself down there in South Florida. And he's surrounded by all these people that hate Notre Dame. So support him. I already told you, T-Rex, bring back the Wu-Tang intro. I have officially retired all of the intros that feature songs by popular artists or whatever else. YouTube's gotten very, very strict with that kind of thing. And if I use those, I risk my monetization, or I could do a 3-hour stream, but if it has 5 seconds of their music, they get all the money. I'm not doing that. So YouTube's redone some of their standards here as far as music and what's allowed or not. Can't do it anymore. I'm not going to do a 3-hour show and give Wu-Tang all the revenue because I used a 5-second intro. I can't do it. So those are gone and they're not coming back. It hurts me too, but I got to go where the revenue is. Craig. Great way to spend a Saturday night. Craig, I'm happy to be with you too. Craig's a loyal soldier. He was out there fighting the elements for blue and gold, setting up the tailgate. I appreciate you, Craig. Appreciate it very much. Look at this from the T-Rex. Look at this. Hartman passing for 4,000. Estime running for 1,200. Defense takes a step forward. Ohio State going to get blown out. College Football Nation on notice. ND running the table. LFG. Why are you trying to get me excited like that? Why are you trying to do that to me on a Saturday night? Look at you trying to get me all worked up. Get me going. Those are some lofty goals, my friend. Look at this. Always Irish Senior. Happy to have Dad in the house. The Irish do not take NIL in the portal serious. I mean serious like the real schools. Brady Quinn. He's trying to change that. Brady Quinn. I don't know why this didn't get more media attention, you guys. I genuinely mean that. I don't know. Brady Quinn is in charge. He's the head guy of the main NIL collective that Notre Dame's been operating from. This week, he put out a press release saying that they have combined officially with Notre Dame's Global Partnership Initiative. I'm not that smart. I'm not no genius computer program. I'm not a genius at interpretation. But when I read that, what that reads to me is Brady Quinn and the NIL collective that he's put together now have access to a database with all of the information of all the Notre Dame people that are big time donors, alums that now sit in these corporate suites, executive suites at all these businesses, not only in America, but across the world, all this stuff. To me, I am hoping that this is an indication to me that Notre Dame's NIL is about to get serious. And if you just left it to Captain Jack, I'd say there's no way Notre Dame gets modern. Brady, however, that's a different story. I kind of think Brady Quinn has a good pulse of what's going on in the modern era. Think about it. He's got the old school Notre Dame credibility, connections, and values. And because of his job, he has ties to the NFL and college football at the highest level. Brady Quinn is a guy that knows the score. Brady Quinn is modern enough. He knows everything going on with NIL and everything else. If anybody I trust to be able to kind of pull this together and kind of toe the line between honoring Notre Dame's values and getting Notre Dame more publicly involved with NIL. If anybody was going to do that, it's Brady Quinn. So the administration, let him talk. Listen to him. I've been told they've been meeting all week. The administration, the top Notre Dame brass, they've been meeting all week on a various different issues. Listen to Brady Quinn. Listen to him. He is a tie to your past and your future. Notre Dame would be wise to listen to everything Brady says about this NIL stuff. I trust him to know what's going on in the modern world way more than Jack does. All right? Listen to Brady. He knows what's going on. Andrew Gilmore. Will Newt, Rock, Nee, or Cousin Luke ever call in? The line's open. 312-900-8815. The line is open for those guys always. I won't even be mean. I just want to talk to them. If they disagree with anything I have to say, let me know. I don't care. The line is here for that reason. Those guys are invited to call. I welcome them to. I won't even be mean. I just want to know what their deal is and why they're so jaded on Notre Dame. Why are you so jaded? Look at the call-in lines filling up. My word. Unbelievable. Here we go. Domer Guy 88, Irish 8. Let's paint the house that Rock built green on September 23rd. No more red takeovers. It's got to be over. I did the episode earlier this week. It's got to be done. That cannot happen again. It cannot. Craig, good to see you. My brother, good to see you here. Andrew's got a new baby at home. Good to see him here. Stephen Arado, regular listener. Good to see you. TXND, same to you as well. Happy Saturday night. Always Irish fam. Great Saturday night for some ND football banner. 4 Saturday. Has it really been 4 Saturdays in a row? I got bad news for you. It's going to end next week. It's Memorial Day weekend. I'm going out of state with the family. Probably not going to be able to do a Saturday night next night. David Fox. Happy Saturday night. Less than 100 days. It's going to go by so fast. You guys all know that. This summer's going to fly by. Notre Dame's going to be right around the corner. Adam, good to see you. Terrence, good to see you as well. Probably on the call-in line too. Chris Conover. Not sure why Pat is a part of the show either. How about this? I love him. I love him, and he generates interaction. How about that? I love him, and then you put that aside. He generates reaction. The worst radio partner in the world you could have is a guy that everybody goes, whatever. A great radio guy has people go, John, he really adds a lot to the show. And on the other side, John, this guy ruins the show. That's the sweet spot, baby. How about that? How about that, Jay Lehman? Good to see you as well. Mark with glasses, Roger Dodger. Not me. What's going on, Dr. John? Dr. John, Saturday night is the loneliest night of the week. But John is here. I mean, I don't want you to be lonely, Dr. John. Geez, that's sad. Domer Guy 88, what up? 618 in the house. Shamrock Shenanigans. Brother Ray is cousin Luke. Yeah, I figured that out the hard way. Michael Ursone, good to see you here too. It's been a while. I feel like since I've seen you. Harry, good to see you. What is this? Harry Leg? Good to see you, Larry. Dr. John, Andrew Gilmore, classic caller. Roy Boy, what's going on, Roy Boy? It's been a while since I've seen you here. Xander Cruz, what's going on? Oh, man, technical technician. EJ Holland smells like a wet dog. Yeah, EJ Holland is happy now because Michigan recruiting is taking an upswing, and that means that EJ gets to bask in all that glory. So I'm sure he's loving it. All right, let's get to the super chats. And we got a full bank of calls. People want to talk. $20 holler from Adam Dowling. Good to see you, Adam. With good health, I think our pass rush could be elite. What still worries me is the D tackles and linebackers up the middle. Tell me something to make me feel better about our defense up the middle. Nope. I'm not going to do that to you, Adam. I'm going to tell you the same thing I've been saying the entire time. Talk to me after Ohio State. When we fire up the call-in lines after Ohio State, we will know where we stand as far as the defensive front, holding up against the run, all that kind of stuff. You're not going to find out. I don't care if Notre Dame wins 60-0 against Navy, Tennessee State, CMU, NC State. If Notre Dame wins all those games 50-0, I am still going to sit here and say, I am not sold on Notre Dame's defensive front until I see them hold up the entire game against Ohio State. At that point, in that post-game show, if I am looking at numbers that are acceptable as far as rushing yards, sacks, pressures, all that, only and only then am I going to not worry about our defensive front. I don't know any fairer way to be. It would be football irresponsibility of me to say, oh, what's that? 4 out of our 6 top tacklers out of the defensive front are gone. Over half the sacks from last year are gone. Oh, that's no big deal. I haven't seen the guys replacing them play long-term stable football, but I'm just going to blindly believe on angels, magic wings, and unicorns, and leprechauns, and everything else. I'm going to magically just put in my mind that it's going to be good. No. I might have been born this morning, but it wasn't yesterday. All right? You got to prove it. So I want the defensive front to be solid. I will not believe it till I see it against Ohio State. And that's the fairest answer I can give. I'm ambivalent. I am neutral on that defensive front until Ohio State. Unless, of course, it looks bad in any of the 4 games before then we got a bigger issue than I even imagined. Because you shouldn't have an issue against any of those 4 teams in that area. And if we do, we got a bigger issue. Forget Ohio State. You're going to have a bigger issue. What else do we got? Brandon McGrath, good to see you, man. Yeah, you like my intros. That's because Brandon McGrath Music created half of my intros. Brandon McGrath Music is stuck out in LA loving Notre Dame. He's the one who wrote a lot of the music I use as intros and buffers. I appreciate it. It says, Dr. John, retire that jacket. Reminds me of West Point, a very traumatic moment my freshman year. What jacket? This pullover, it has Notre Dame on it. It's got a leprechaun on it, John. Give me a break. Joe, good to see ya. Here's another $20 holler with, wait a second, we already did this. I'm circling back. I'm giving you too much credit. Look at this, Mark with glasses. Give the keys to Brady Quinn. I'm just telling you, if you're asking me who is more keyed into the modern situation and what these kids are looking for, is it going to be Captain Jack near retirement or Brady Quinn tied to the NFL, tied to college football? It's going to be Brady Quinn. Listen to the guy. He's already in those meetings. Listen to him. Michael Ursone, I have Big Ten athletes staying, training with me right now. I had no idea they did away with the SAT test. And now all you have to do is get a 1.8 GPA to stay eligible. Crazy. Oh, yeah, it's all about academics. It's all about academics. Don't you know that by now? $2 holler. I'll donate $100 if Rock or Luke calls in. I'm looking at the phone calls. I don't see them yet. Everybody kind of has a call history here. I recognize the numbers. I won't even be mean. $5 holler. John, take Pat's call. Geez, all right. Everybody, Pat's not hosting on the show, and then he calls in. I'll take his call. Oh, man. What is this? Ryan, 661D. Lindsay left with little to no disappointment from the fans, myself included. However, Hartman could have gotten him plenty of deep balls, if we're being honest. He never had anybody to get him the ball. Lindsay was a constant frustration. He wasn't healthy enough. And when he wasn't getting the ball in the right circumstances to maximize him being healthy when he did it. His entire run was frustration. That guy's entire run was frustration. He either wasn't healthy, that's another thing. Some guys could play hurt and be productive. Lindsay was a guy, if he's not 100%, you're getting nothing out of him. So that right there, he had to be 100% healthy. And even when he wasn't getting the ball in the right situations, in the right moments. I wanted to maximize it. So it was nothing but frustration with him the whole time. $10 holler from Craig. Quinn is the answer. But John, serious topic to discuss. What's up with crop circles? Hoax? Real? Man, we went right by UFOs. We went right by Bigfoot. We went right by Area 51. We went right by all that, and we're getting into crop circles. I want to know how much you've drank tonight, Craig. You start getting into the crop circle debate. $20 holler from Andrew Gilmore. Caller of the year, maybe, Andrew Gilmore, by the way. In 1 year, I think Freeman has the opportunity to bring in a huge star in Hartman. Who were the big stars of the Kelly era? Teo, part of Holtz's fame were his star players. If Freeman could bring in classic stars, no more red takeovers. Andrew, that's interesting. You might be hitting on one of my star topics of the night. You might be hitting on it. You might be hitting on it. Geez. All right, fine. I've seen the text messages. Pat, you're on the air. I thought you were on vacation. Go away. I thought you were on freaking vacation. Go away. Well, I thought you were golfing.
I told you I will call in at the start of the show. But I have to go back to the casino. I am down $600, and I got to get it back.
That's dangerous, Pat. 600, down 600. Come on.
The problem is I was up 8
Uh-oh. And then you
That was a
tried
couple
to
nights ago.
pile it on and it didn't work out for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it has not. It has not worked out. It has not worked out.
All right. Aside from your gambling, do you have any football thoughts here? Hey, Pat, one thing we got to discuss is all of these ACC issues. I don't know if Notre Dame fans are realizing the extent to which those become Notre Dame issues. Is that something in your mind this week at all? It is to me, and people keep telling me I should be aware of it.
Fill me in, because I've been out of civilization for like the last 4 days. So
I'm just saying, people are telling me Notre Dame's administration has been meeting all week, coming up with contingency plans should the ACC dissolve, lose members, even if even if all the ACC members stay, but they redo the revenue share, that is going to impact Notre Dame's next TV deal and what they feel they need to ask for. I am being told by my people, you better pay way more attention to what happens in the ACC than you are. And I don't know what to make of that, but I have been told they've been meeting, coming up with plans for whatever happens here. I don't know, Pat. I feel like I overlooked it, and maybe I'm a dereliction of duty.
If memory serves correctly, and I may be wrong, but I believe Notre Dame gets money from the ACC TV contract for the Olympic sports. So it would obviously what's going on would impact Notre Dame greatly. But I think the ACC dissolving, falling apart, and these schools splitting up and trying to get that new contract, that only benefits Notre Dame. I believe it only benefits Notre Dame.
In what way? In what way?
Because that scheduling contract is becoming an albatross. It's not good for Notre Dame. You do not want that hanging around your neck. The ACC is down. There's one team in the ACC that's worth playing right now, and it's Clemson. Some are going to say Florida State, but we haven't actually seen it yet. I don't care how Joe Klatt wants to rank them. They're not. We haven't seen it yet. So ACC scheduling is down, and yeah, that's a good thing. Notre Dame can. This goes back to the NBC conversation we had last week. The Big Ten wants Notre Dame. They want Notre Dame. They will do anything to get Notre Dame. They will enter into a sweetheart contract with Notre Dame as part of NBC to get Notre Dame playing Michigan State, Ohio State, Purdue.
Yeah,
Penn
but
State,
wait. Time out, Pat. You're saying if that happened, it would benefit Notre Dame. You're glossing over us giving up our lifelong independence like it's nothing. You just went from one thing to the next. You glossed right over it and looked at the benefits.
I did not say we're giving up independence.
Well, then what? Wait a second. Whoa. You think the Big Ten's going to give Notre Dame?
They did with the ACC.
Oh, baby. I don't know. Is the Big Ten willing to play ball with Notre Dame to the extent to say, join for all the other sports and then football, you could have one foot in the pool? You think the Big Ten would give us the same deal the ACC did in that regard?
The Big Ten just took in USC and UCLA. They want USC to play Notre Dame. They're going to take in Stanford. These schools want to play Notre Dame. Michigan wants to play Notre Dame. Michigan State and Purdue want to play Notre Dame. This is going to happen. And what is John? The trade-off? The trade-off is $15 million. Notre Dame gets a TV contract for $75 million, while all the Big Ten schools get a TV contract for $90 million.
Man, and you're assuming that Notre Dame would get the 75 that's being purported. I'm not even sure of that. Like, Pat, how are you so sure of Notre Dame's leverage in those negotiations to think that they could ask for 75 and that somebody's just going to pony up? I'm not where's Notre Dame's leverage in all that?
Because on average, Notre Dame gets more eyeballs on their games in a college football season than any other school does. We talked about this last week. I did the research. Notre Dame averages 3 games a year that are in the top 10. Maybe Alabama's in there twice. Ohio State once or twice. Notre Dame is 3 a year. These other schools, they're not in there as much as Notre Dame. Notre Dame's in there every week. There's too many eyeballs on Notre Dame for anybody to pass this up. And I said this last week. I think Notre Dame gets that NBC money without blinking an eye, and the fact that the ACC is splitting apart makes it even more obvious that this is going to happen, because Notre Dame could get out of that deal and sign something similar with NBC with the Big Ten. And it's all just falling into place. It's just falling into place. But here's my one concern about it. This is the first step to Notre Dame joining the Big Ten.
Yeah.
I don't like that part.
Well,
I don't like that part. And I'm not saying but it's not going to happen real quick. It's probably going to take 5 years. But I think
that's my
at
question.
The end of the day,
but wait,
Notre Dame's in the Big Ten.
That's my question is, a lot of people are of the mindset of like when, not if. That was what I was going to ask you. Like, how soon does this all take place? If the ACC falls apart, does that accelerate Notre Dame's time frame? They're going to have to find a landing spot for every other sport, Pat. It isn't just football. It's finding a home for everybody else too.
Yeah, that's why I just think all of the timing on all of this it's not coincidental. And I wouldn't be surprised if Notre Dame is a catalyst in this, because look, for all the people who hate Jack Swabrick, and I'm definitely not a advocate of Jack in any way whatsoever. When it has come to these kind of deals, he has always gotten Notre Dame a really good deal. Notre Dame 10 years ago was going to have to join a conference because the Big East failed, and he got them in with the ACC deal, and he got Notre Dame a bunch more money. I mean, when the BCS was a thing, he got Notre Dame $1 million a year guaranteed from the BCS, even if they didn't go to the BCS. He's always been contractually sound with making sure Notre Dame was in a good position to get the money they needed. So, all the other issues he has, fine. But he hasn't failed in this area. And I promise you, he's probably a mechanism behind all of this. And you're going to see Notre Dame, and this is all conjecture on my part. I don't know the truth. I don't know what's actually going to happen. I'm just judging everything off of history. And I would not be surprised if Notre Dame announces the ACC gets out of their contract and Notre Dame announces a new deal with NBC. And because of the ACC, they have a new deal with the Big Ten.
Yeah, it's wild. I just don't know what dominoes have to fall when for all of this to take off. Domer Guy 88 says, why would that make them join a conference? It isn't just football. If the ACC has a bunch of members that go find somewhere else and that dissolves, then none of the other sports have a home. That is a major issue for Notre Dame athletics. That is a bigger thing than just football. At that point, that's the issue to me. Even if the ACC stays together and all the members stay in it and they redo the payout for the football part of it, I'm even being told that is going to change Notre Dame's plans of how they approach their next TV deal, and that could impact it. So I don't know. But I think I admit I underestimated what this would mean to us, that they're having these issues.
No, this is I feel like this is playing into Notre Dame's hands, exactly what they want to do, because this, again, I said it last week.
I thought what we wanted to do was win a championship being independent in the modern era to prove we could do it our way. I thought that's what we wanted to do. Is that no longer what we want to do?
No, that's still what I want. This is still what I want.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm happy about this. It's still what I want. I want Notre Dame to stay independent. I want Notre Dame to stay independent forever. And I want them to win national championships as an independent team. And again, the reason behind that isn't because of I'm married to the past, but the past is what built this program. And Notre Dame's independence is a result of Catholic bigotry towards the Irish Catholics from the Big Ten that put us on this path to be a nationwide team. And that is why we are where we are. And I don't want to abandon that first principle of this football team. I don't want to abandon that. But the forces of college football are changing drastically. And I think between NIL and these super conferences, Notre Dame's not going to have a choice.
God, man, so Pat, I hate this because I wrote a USA Today article, Irish Wire article. I don't think it's printed yet or gone out, but it's a draft. And it's exactly what you just said. In that article, I speak about Notre Dame may end up joining the Big Ten, and it isn't going to be a choice. It's going to be the outside forces of everything else with the big blinking arrow pointing them in that direction. The money, the access, the academics, the playoff access, the home for all the other sports. All those blinking arrows are pointing Notre Dame in that direction. How long can you hold out doing it our way? That's the big question.
That is the big question. And here's I would look at it this way. Like the ACC, when they signed their TV contract, it was a long-term deal. And that's what screwed them over because it was a long contract. If Notre Dame signs a long contract with NBC, I think they're smoked. Because they're going to fall so far behind in money. I mean, we're already talking $15 million. They're falling behind Rutgers. Right?
And I can't get over that, Pat. I cannot get over the idea that Rutgers is going to get handed $90 million a year for being bad and boring. It's one thing to be bad. They're bad and boring. $90 million a year, baby. Print it. Cash it.
Yeah. But I mean, think about that for a second. I mean, truly think about that. Notre Dame is. We're sitting there saying $75 million. That's good for Notre Dame. You are $15 million behind a team in the Big Ten that can't get 10,000 people in the stadium, let alone 10,000 people to watch it on TV. And Notre Dame averages 2 million people per game watching on TV. Even when they're getting beaten by a bad Marshall team.
So Pat, is the end result of this Captain Jack or whoever's in that role getting up on a podium and saying, we prefer independence, but the way the world is, if we want to compete, we're going to have to do this. And we hope you all understand that. Like that messaging is a big deal to me. It isn't going to be by choice. It's going to be by math that I think Notre Dame might have to do this, man.
Well, I have two thoughts in that process. It is by fact. It is by fact, but I'm very curious. You know, Jack, it's well reported. Notre Dame went to NBC and said, we want $75 million. You want to keep us, it's $75 million. And the logic behind that is they're not talking to anybody else and they're giving NBC a discount to extend the relationship that they've had for 30 years. Okay. All right, fine. I get it. You're comfortable with this. You want to continue with this. And where I'm coming from, my thought process is if that's the way you're going, you are aligning yourself with the Big Ten. You're not giving yourself a choice. You're aligning yourself with the Big Ten. You're allowing all of that money that you're going to lose out on to put pressure on you to join the Big Ten. If Notre Dame was serious about keeping independence, they would get $100 million a year from Fox tomorrow. They would go into Fox.
But why not?
And they would say, how would you like to guarantee?
But why wouldn't you? Are they that impressed? But wait, why wouldn't they? Are they that impressed with the Peacock app? Like, why not? Why not go for everybody? Like, shoot your shot. Why would they not do that?
You put too much on the Peacock app, John. It's not what it's about. Notre Dame is about tradition and relationships. It's about tradition and relationships. And they have an established tradition and relationship with NBC, and they want to continue that. And that's all it comes down to. And they're sitting there saying, we'll take less to continue what we have. But in actuality, outside, there's not another school in the country that can guarantee the results that Notre Dame guarantees. So there's not another school in the country that can go and ask for more money than Notre Dame can, but they're not doing it. They're not doing it. And I think it's a path to failure. I call it the path to the Big Ten. It's the path to the Big Ten. That's what Notre Dame is on. And I believe Jack wants that. I believe that's been the path for Notre Dame.
But then why play? But why play all the games then? Why make life harder on ourselves than it has to be? Tell everybody in the modern era, if you guys want to compete for championships, we need to keep up with revenue. And the only way to do that is to do this. And it's a good home for all the sports. And we have all the same benefits of everybody else. Access to the playoff, no Notre Dame tax, $90 million a year, all of that. Why play all these games? To honor tradition as long as you can in theory, or what?
My honest belief is that it's the donor class. It's all the people, all the graduate, all the people with the degrees who are writing those checks. They're putting their name on buildings. We always say it's the same people who tell you to sit down at the football game, but they're still the people who sign the checks, and they still value independence. So right now we still need the checks to come in from the donor class. We need the people to buy, we need it to be the assistant coach of so-and-so. That's what they want. That's what they're targeting. So it's all about placating those people until their back is up against the wall, and they're going to say, "Look, it's either this or nothing," and that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
But see, they're playing a failure game. They're playing it's a losing strategy, and they know it, and they're playing it on purpose. Because I truly John, if you have a school that every week is going to average 2 million people watching, and that is better than 90% of the college football games every year, you wouldn't pay that school $100 million?
Yeah. Yep. Nope. Hey.
I'm not saying ESPN. ESPN is out. ABC, obviously, that's ESPN, so that's all out. So it's CBS, NBC, and Fox.
Yeah.
And I don't see CBS going for it. Fox, it's Fox. Fox will pay it.
Yeah.
They will pay it. And in Notre Dame, I don't think Notre Dame is serious on these negotiations. I think they know they're going to get $75 million from NBC because they know in the long run they're going to be in the Big Ten. That's the way I see it. Again, it's conjecture. This is all conjecture. I don't have any inside knowledge. I don't talk to anybody from the university. This is just my knowledge of my past experiences with
Pat, do you want to know what got me worked up on this angle late this week? I got a couple text messages from people I trust that have contacts there on the ground that said the Notre Dame brass has been meeting all week about this ACC thing, and they are coming up with all possible contingencies, and they all lead to the Big Ten for everybody involved with Notre Dame if that all falls apart. But I had multiple people say, John, I'm shocked you are not talking about this every day on your show because Notre Dame's taking it deadly serious, and they are meeting this week coming up with, what do we need to do if this happens with the ACC? What do we have to do if this happens? And it's an arrow that leads to the Big Ten every time.
Yeah, it is. And here's the thing. It's going to happen. The ACC is going to split apart. Or they're going to come to a new contract agreement with TV, but either way it goes, it's going to give Notre Dame an out. Notre Dame's going to get an out. They're going to be able to break away from the ACC. They're going to enter, and Notre Dame needs to enter an agreement with the Big Ten because they need to play USC every year. They need to. They have to. If you're a Notre Dame fan, Notre Dame needs to play USC.
Yeah. And
so that's what's going to happen. It's just going to happen. You can't avoid it. The best move the Big Ten has done is not the $90 million contract with NBC. It's USC. It's bringing USC into the fold.
Yeah.
that was it. That was checkmate for me. It was absolute checkmate for me. Once USC was in the fall, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I know.
Here we go.
I had that thought too. I had that thought too, because there's only one tangential move off of that, and it's this. Like, that is the next logical thing, is this. Here, Pat, here's what I've been thinking about. I look at this as like a big teeter-totter. Where is the point of no return where the Notre Dame people in power sit there and go, why are we banging our heads against the wall when the answer is right here for all of our financial needs and competitiveness with every sport and everything and all the rivalries and everything? It's right in front of you. Where is the point of no return where it tilts enough that Notre Dame brass says, we all love independence, but if you want any dreams of a new trophy, this is how it's going to have to be? Like, I just don't know where that tipping point is.
Well, there's two issues with that, which is probably why the two things that has probably always prevented this. And the first issue is we talked about the donor class, the people who are funding the schools, who are donating to the school, they like independence. The second aspect, which Notre Dame cares about dearly, is the academics. All Big Ten schools operate on a different academic structure than what Notre Dame does. They're part of an academic association that Notre Dame is not in. Notre Dame would have to join that, and it would change the structure of Notre Dame academically. Now, there are people in the university who are on board with that, so it's not a hard stretch to believe. And it was actually thought it was going to happen in the late 90s, and there are people who are not. So, but that's the kind of the dividing line where that comes from. So, it's never with Notre Dame. It's never as easy as this is where the money's at. Let's do it. No, This situation is there's a lot on the line here for the university. It's not just a financial perspective, but it's an academic perspective. And there are actually some people who are worried that this will lower the academic standards of the school, which a lot of people, and then on the football side, are calling for, because they'll let kids get in, like Michigan can get in, that Notre Dame won't let in. But honestly,
but overall, with research and all the stuff they do, the Big Ten is a pretty good fit for Notre Dame academically overall. Like, I don't see that being a huge
long
hurdle.
run. Yeah, long run it is.
Yeah.
Northwestern's in it. Notre Dame will be fine in it. And then actually the rumor is that they're going to pull Stanford in once Notre Dame goes.
Man, I mean, and then you're pulling that rivalry out of the West. You already got USC. You have all the traditional. The traditional Notre Dame Big Ten rivalries. Like
right.
Listen, Pat. If we had to do this, the Big Ten's a great fit. It would be exciting almost every week. Like, it would be a great fit. I am not questioning that. I'm just questioning how close this is to reality. That's where I'm struggling. It would be a great fit in almost every way. I'm having a hard time judging how close we are to this.
I'd say 5 to 7 years.
I got people acting like it's 5 to 7 minutes.
No, I'd say 5 to 7 years. It's not going to fold that.
Okay,
quickly.
wait. Okay, so
Notre Dame's going to enter into a contract with NBC.
That's what I was going to say. So if nothing's going to happen soon, then you're assuming Notre Dame enters another TV deal with somebody or NBC. All right, so there's something else in between. There's a bridge there.
Here's the problem. The problem you're going to run into, what everyone's going to say is, and again, I don't agree with this. I think this whole motion was started a long time ago, and I really think that
Dr. John put in the chat, good God, Pat, I'll be dead by then. Come on, Dr. John. You got a bunch more decades in you. You got decades, brother.
Dr. John,
come on.
Dr. John, I played Sultan's Run yesterday here in French Lick, and I started out par, and I was like, oh my God, this is going to be my day. And then I went 7-7, par, 7-7. And that was my day yesterday.
That's brutal.
At Sultan's Run.
That's rough.
Oh my God. John,
can't finish, can't start. Can't finish, can't start, baby.
I think I had 9 pars on the scorecard, and then I had 7s. It was awful.
That'll kill you.
So, Dr. John, we got to work on what's causing that problem.
Oh man, that'll get you. So Pat, I'm just, the timing of all this is what's throwing me off. I was told Notre Dame's been in emergency meetings all this week, building these contingency plans, building these plans.
Dr. John just asked if I bet on 7.
Yeah, well, so I don't know, Pat.
I didn't, Dr. John. The craps table is what took most of my money, that bastard.
There you go. So I don't know, Pat. I don't want to act like this is just like it's going to happen no matter what. But I got a lot of people who are telling me, John, this is more real than you think. And that is stuck in my head all week.
Yeah, it is. It's very real world. It's going to happen. It's sad. But again, like I said, Notre Dame's going to enter a TV deal. They're going to keep their independence, but it's a phony independence, because they're partnering with the NBC, who's partners with the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And then when that deal comes up, it's all going to get folded in. If Notre Dame was serious about independence, they'd sign that contract with Fox. They go into a deal with Fox. They'd be done with NBC. But here's what's going to happen. This is what's really going to force it. The SEC already did this. They went to 9 conference games a year. So if you go to 9 conference games a year, that limits USC to 3 non-conference games. They're not going to want to schedule, and then the Big Ten schedule itself is going to be harder for Notre Dame to put together, or for USC to put together, put Notre Dame on it in the same pattern that they're on it. And so, it's just going to be the Big Ten is going to make scheduling hard for Notre Dame. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen, and that's. And everyone's going to say that's why it happened, and that's it.
Yeah. Hey, this is interesting. And you know what, Pat? I hate to sit here as a Notre Dame guy with all of our tradition and all of our history and all of that. And I hate to sit here and say, this may simply come down to just numbers, but in reality, it's going to come down to numbers. What good is it to hold on to our independence, but we fall so far behind in money, we're never going to win again? But by God, we're independent and we love it, but it is going to block you out from doing any of your goals. You can't make 40 million less than everybody else and think you're going to compete. I hate saying it's money, but it's money, Pat.
It's money.
It's money, baby. It's money. Just like you lost at the casino. It's all money, baby.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's all money.
All right, Johnny. When I passed out on me, I gotta go wake him up. He's sleeping in the room, and I gotta bring him back to the casino. But I appreciate you taking the call. Have a good show tonight. For cousin brother Luke.
Yeah,
Ray,
I was gonna say cousin brother Ray.
Yeah. I truly appreciate his feedback on the show. Again, anytime, when I'm back on, if he wants to call in and take a run at me, he's more than welcome.
Yep.
Otherwise, he can continue being a tough boy keyboard warrior, and that's good enough.
There you go. All right, Pat. Have a good night. Text me if you win any money. Text me if you lose any money. All right, buddy?
So, John, hold on real quick. So the first night I was down here, Thursday night, I was up $700. I hit a couple machines. I got up real quick. I went home. Friday night, I go out. Craps table just destroyed me. I got ruined on the craps table. I called my wife for the first time this morning, and I told her what happened, and she pretty much made it seem like I can't come home now because I lost $700 of money I'm not actually, I wasn't down money at that time, but yeah, it was, dude, craps sucks.
Well, then play something else.
I did play something else, man. That was the coldest table I've ever been on.
All right, get back to a cold table and a cold beer. All right.
Oh, I know.
All right.
I gotta go wake up One Eye. He is passed out.
All right. See ya later.
John, you gotta tell the One Eye story.
Yeah, it's a dark story, but I might do it. Have a good one, Pat. Thank you.
Later, buddy.
See ya.
Yep. Enjoy, guys. Bye.
Yep. You guys, You may or may not believe this, and you definitely don't want to hear it. Pat's referring to a guy as One Eye. This is one of our old golfing buddies that we used to play with every Sunday morning. And a couple summers ago, he sculled an iron off a fence post, and the ball went back into his eye and exploded his eye completely. I am talking major ricochet. The guy shanked the golf shot. It hit a metal fence post, ricocheted back into his eye, and exploded it in the fairway. And now he has a fake eye. And we sit at the bar, and when we're done golfing, he rolls his eye up and down the bar. If ever there was like an incentive to make a solid golf shot, that is it. When you shank it, you lose your eyeball. All right? That's the lesson, people. All right. I got a whole bunch of calls we're going to get to. I need a 1-minute break to go check on something upstairs. We'll be back and we'll bang through these calls. We got a lot of calls. I want to give everybody a chance. Everybody's got to tighten up their thoughts. We'll get through them. Give me 1 minute. In fact, we'll go ahead and play you a little entertainment in the meantime. I'll be back in 1 minute. Away the Irish Joe. Away the Irish Joe. Away the Irish Joe. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. What are you doing? Don't do this to me, Harry. The Ohio State. It's Ohio State. What do you mean, the? It's a poison. I almost stroked out and died over it. I'm glad to be at the party. I'm mad we're this late. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. That helps the defense without them even doing a damn thing. Doing a damn thing. The call-in line. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. Oh, boy. All right, we're back. We're back in action. Let's bring up some phone calls here. 219, what's going on, Adam?
What's up, John? How you doing?
I got some existential anxiety, Adam. I am uncomfortable with how close this Big Ten thing is, but everybody around me tells me you're not talking about it enough. It's a real thing. What do you make of this?
Well, I think Pat was kind of on the right page with talking about the ACC's troubles a little bit in the Big Ten. But I think kind of maybe what we're missing here is that Notre Dame has a grant of rights with the ACC as well. So if they were to choose to go to another conference tomorrow, I think they'd have to pay the ACC somewhere close to $30 million. I may be wrong on that. Someone can correct me, but I know it's a pretty good chunk of change they would have to pay to leave the ACC. So if the ACC breaks up, I think it benefits Notre Dame because then they can do whatever they want. It doesn't cost them anything.
Right. Yeah, but what my question is, I don't know how real that is. Like, I don't know how real that is for the ACC. Like what is the most likely outcome? That they all stay, but they redistribute the TV money to the top tier teams, meaning Florida State, Clemson, Miami, probably, or like I just don't know where the reality is of all these scenarios of what could be.
could they kind of break up where they get the 8th team and it kind of breaks up their grant of rights where like maybe like Clemson and Florida State can go do whatever they want and kind of regroup themselves. And then Notre Dame might think, okay, since they broke up, this is our time to get out. We don't want to re-up with them. We'd rather re-up with the Big Ten. Those might be the conversations. I'm just throwing some ideas out there.
Yeah, I don't know what. The last I read, it looked like they were really entertaining the idea of shifting that money distribution to where every team doesn't get the same amount, but the top teams that perform well and bring in the highest ratings get it. And that's dangerous because you're kind of like screwing your own teams while helping your own teams. Like, you're going to help the top end, but if you give less money to the bottom end, aren't they going to be at the bottom forever? That's really tedious to me. That's tricky.
Yeah, that's what kind of motivates some of these schools just to join these big conferences is because they're getting the same money as everyone else. That's why they join. I would think we'd have some smaller conferences still alive if that was the case.
Yeah, like I don't know, man. And I just think it's interesting the timing of all this. That new playoff format is like that big dividing line for me of 24 when everything in this landscape in the postseason changes. That is a key period for me. And I does Notre Dame build a bridge deal with NBC for a little more years and then see what happens? I don't know, man.
I think you probably won't know exactly. You just be throwing ideas and kind of hearing from sources until you see what Notre Dame, if they get a new TV deal and what happens with the ACC.
Yeah.
So you probably won't know anything, but if something happens where the ACC falls apart and they have to kind of regroup it and they can get out of their deal, then they might say, okay, now we just have to do it. Now is the time and we have to do it. Even though we don't want to right away, we would rather wait 5 to 7 years, like Pat was saying, but we have to right now for the other sport.
Yeah, man, it would be a good, it would, dude, Adam, it would be a good landing spot. I love independence. I am a Notre Dame traditionalist. I am an existential Notre Dame guy. Like, I love the independence. But if Jack got up there tomorrow and said, if you people that all love independence, if you also want us to ever put anything else in that case, we're going to have to do this to stay relevant and make the money to keep up with the Joneses. If they said that, it isn't my number one choice. It's as good as you could do for number two. You would have buku money, never have to worry about that. All your other sports would have a great home. The academics would be good, and you would be making big money. You would have a rivalry game damn near every week. It would not be a bad plan if you had to do it, but I hope we don't have to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're on the same page, John. We talked about this a lot yesterday. We all love the independent. We love our Notre Dame tradition. We love the independence. But the Big Ten kind of gives you both. It kind of gives you the conference and the financial backing you need, and you get to play a coast-to-coast.
All right, schedule. Now wait, Adam, somebody put up on the chat, Domer Guy 88 put, the other sports can find a home that's not going to make us join. But what do you mean by that? Where else are they going to go? That's what we already did. No. That's how all the other sports ended up in the ACC. So if that's no longer an option, what do you mean? Do you really think Adam, I don't think the Big Ten would be as lenient as the ACC and go, oh, you're home for all the other sports collapse. We'll accept them all. And then football, yeah, you could halfway have your foot in the water and halfway not and all that. I don't know that the Big Ten is going to be as open to that deal as the ACC was. They might say, get in or screw off. And I wouldn't blame them.
No, like Domer Guy. I mean, you're wrong on that because that's why we have the deal with the ACC. That's why we play 5 the 6 ACC games, is to protect our other sports. Otherwise, the ACC would not allow them in their conference. That's how that works. There's the only reason why we play these ACC games is to protect our other sports. Secondly, John, I think you're right, and I think Pat might be a little bit wrong on this. I don't think the Big Ten would ever do a deal the ACC did.
Me neither.
Oh, you don't have to be in football.
No, me neither.
No.
Me neither.
But
especially,
you want in,
Adam, especially if the ACC caves, then the Big Ten's going to feel like they have more leverage because they know that we need to go somewhere and they're the best fit. The Big Ten knows that they're the best fit. So if it all fell apart, they're going to feel leverage. And they might say to Notre Dame, screw you. Where are you going to go if it isn't us in the ACC? Join for everything or go away. And I wouldn't blame them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame them. But I don't think Notre Dame has the leverage in that discussion. I think they do.
Well, I guess we should wait, John, probably and see what our new TV deal. If something comes up even a little sooner before it expires, and that'll tell you a lot. That'll probably tell you a lot where the money is and what they want to do. But
Adam, I'm telling you, man, when I get texted a couple times late this week saying, John, I know for a fact the administration has been meeting all week about this ACC thing, and the Big Ten is the main point of their meetings, that registers to me when it comes from the people that I trust that tell me when things are brewing over there. And I get 2 of them that message me. They've been having stressful meetings all week about this. You need to give it more attention on your show. That raises an alarm to me that this is realer than I wanted it to be.
Well, we've said this over and over again. We want to be independent. Yes, I would rather stay independent, but it's getting to the point when Purdue is making 3 times the money that Notre Dame is for their
no. Hey, Adam, you don't get on your high horse and tell me Rutgers isn't worth $90 million a year. Come on, baby, they're worth $90 million a year. It's Rutgers.
Purdue is making. I mean, at what point you just got to say, okay, we did this for a long time. It's a different world than 1924, than 1990. And, let's just take the money and let's build a new football building and let's better the university.
Adam.
I mean, hey
Adam,
John.
We would hate it. Wait, Adam. We would hate it in theory, meaning joining the Big Ten. I would hate it in theory. In practicality, the schedules would be awesome every single year. I would love Notre Dame's schedule every year. You would have USC, so you're getting that. All those Big Ten teams, like almost all of them, would be great games. It would raise the profile of the whole Big Ten. Like everybody would win except for me, Mr. Independent. Everybody would win except for independence lovers.
Yeah. I mean, it's a hard decision. It's a hard place right now.
It might not be, Adam. Adam, that is Swarbrick. Listen to me. That is Swarbrick's answer. It isn't hard. That is how you solve this if you're Notre Dame. You get up on the podium and go, this isn't our decision. It's the one we had to make. If Notre Dame does this, that's how they have to frame it to get it over on the fans. You have to say, if you all want us to ever add to that trophy case, this is the path. Know that we understand our history, wanted to do that, but it's no longer viable. If they went up there and said that, it'd go a long way. I don't think it's going to be a choice. All the writing's going to be on the wall.
Yeah, when you can make 3 times, 4 times the money you're making now, I mean, it's like, hey, John, it'd be like someone telling you, hey, you could do this show alone. It's just your show all the time. Or you can join this organization and you can make 3-4 times the money you're making now. You'd probably join, wouldn't you?
It would be, yeah, but this show doesn't have 100 years of history of doing it different. That's the difference, Adam. I don't have 100 years of doing this show and all the generations of people that were used to me doing it one way and being great at it, I don't have that history here. I don't have that footprint. That's what's hard.
We talk all the time, and we love our Notre Dame history, and we all want to be independent for all these years. There was a couple of years ago, I would have said, no way, not a chance. But for some reason, I've started to okay, maybe this is what we should do. Maybe this is what we should do. So that's where I guess I would say just everyone still just keep an open mind and kind of see if it really might be better for Notre Dame, for the university to win a championship. It might be better for us.
Yeah, it's just tough, but I feel like at some point the decision might be out of Notre Dame's hands, and that makes it easier for them to do this. When you could get up there and say, we realize the history, but in the modern reality, we have to do this to be able to compete, to add anything else other than history. There's nothing you could say. It's over then.
I mean, John, what did Jack always say in his press conference about independence? He's always said that Notre Dame will remain independent unless the financing, they couldn't keep up with the finances.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's where the TV deal comes into play. So Jack better be on the phone working NBC or Fox or whoever he's working. He better be working it.
Yeah. So, all right, John, I'm going to let you go. I know you got a lot of callers, so I'm not going to be too long, but hopefully, I guess we'll know once this TV deal comes out. I think that's when you really know, unless the ACC folds, which I did watch a couple of ACC shows where they didn't think it was folding at all, that it was kind of it wasn't happening.
Yeah, they could redo the money and redo that. But this is on the radar for Notre Dame. Short term now, but long term, it's still on the radar. So I don't know, man. It's just a reality I'm being aware of.
I mean, it's got to be getting closer, because a show like yours, Notre Dame fans, we wouldn't even be talking about this at all in years past. So now we're talking about it.
I'm telling you, man, it wasn't even on my radar. I was going, oh man, that sucks for you that you're stuck in this crappy TV deal. And I had people messaging me saying, John, Notre Dame's administration has been meeting all week about this issue, and it is a big damn deal, and you're not bringing it up enough. I listen to that when it comes from my contacts that I trust that are on the ground there. So I'm just bringing it to you guys. This is a lot more real than I wanted it to be.
I guess before I get off here, the point I would make is I'm good either way. If we stay independent and the money's good, I'm happy. If we join the Big Ten, I think it might just be a nice new beginning for Notre Dame, and let's see where it goes. It could be fun.
Yeah, hey, you're going to have a bunch of interesting ball games every week, man. So we'll see what happens. And maybe this is further down the road than I realized, but it was eye-opening to me to hear, it was eye-opening for me to hear how big of a deal Notre Dame was making it, meeting over it all week.
Yeah. All right, John, I'm going to let you go get you these other callers.
Beautiful. But, hey, have a good one. And tell your wife I said hello. Have a good weekend, all right?
All right, we'll talk to you later.
Beautiful. See ya. Listen, you guys, I'm not trying to be an alarmist in any way. However, just like I was the PR genius that would have figured out how to handle the OC situation back in the winter, I'm going to be a genius on this one too. If Notre Dame feels they must join the Big Ten to be able to compete, that's the answer. Jack, or whoever it is, when it happens, gets up there and says, we realize all of your allegiances to independence. We acknowledge that that is our history we love and respect. However, the way things are going in the modern era, if any of you Notre Dame fans want another trophy in that case to cheer about, this is the answer. This is the way. There's no other way. The only way it's going to work is doing this. And oh, by the way, you're going to have a rivalry game almost every week. Like, it's not going to be a downgrade in schedule. It would be an upgrade in schedule. It would be an upgrade in intrigue with the schedule every single day, every week. So if they need to do this, you need to frame it not as a choice, but you need to frame it as, we're not choosing to do this. This is not our first choice, but the modern realities are dictating this is what needs to happen if any of you people want another trophy. And at that point, what are you or I or anybody else going to say then? What? Damn it. I hate this discussion. I hate this discussion, but let me bring it up. What good? Let me ask this. I'm going to calm down. All right. Let me breathe. Let's calm down. What good is holding on to independence, because it's what we've always been? What worth is holding on to independence, but it means you're never going to win anything else that matters the rest of time? What good does your independence do you then? That's like this big existential question, and it's partially existential, but partially financial. But what good does holding on to your roots and all the history and everything do you if doing it prevents you from ever winning anything else? For instance, staying independent but having a TV deal that pays you half as much as the Big Ten. Guess what? You're dead as a program. Lay in your grave, bury yourself, you're dead. You're dead. You make $40 million less than the Big Ten teams 1 year, it's 80 the next, 120 the next, 40, 60, 80. Like, you're dead then. So what good does it do you to hold on to independence and all your old school stuff if it precludes you from winning anything new? What are you gaining? All right. What do we got? We got some callers here bugging me. They want to get on. They're mad. Oh, man, a bunch of 574. What's up in South Bend? Everybody drinking tonight or what? 937, what's going on?
Hey, John, how's it going?
Stress.
This is your favorite Buckeye fan.
Yeah, oh, yeah. What a great time for you to call in when I'm talking about the Big Ten.
Yes. Come on in. We need you. You know,
No. Wait. You don't need us. You don't need us, but we'd be a damn good little prize. You don't need us. The Big Ten's doing just fine. But even Big Ten fans that hate Notre Dame know the conference would benefit from us joining. That ain't no secret.
Yeah, and also, I want to take down the mighty SEC and ESPN. I hate those guys.
Yeah, hey, listen, man. I got to tell you, man, it messed my mind up when I got all those messages the last couple of days of people telling me Notre Dame's administration is stressing out over this, and it's a short-term and a long-term problem. It got in my head. Like, they are, it indicates to me maybe the writing's on the wall that we end up in the Big Ten eventually. What do you think?
Well, this is what I think. Maybe nobody's talked about this yet on your show. And I think I tweeted you about this on one day this week. And it was the fact that on CBS, so the Big Ten right now has to deal with Fox, NBC, and CBS. So that they have three of the big four networks. And if you think about it, there's a game the same day, September the 23rd. On CBS at night. It's Penn State's whiteout game, and they're playing Iowa that night. So my question is this. Will NBC decide to go at 3:30 or have an earlier kickoff to basically bow to the Big Ten to let them have that night game also, so they won't have Ohio State and Penn State playing at the same time. If that happens, then that's all you need to know.
Hey, I got to tell you, look at the screen right now, man. Mark with glasses, longtime supporter of this show and on Twitter too. And he says, don't trust this guy. He's too nice to be a Buckeye fan. He's rubbing elbows with ND fans and it doesn't smell right. People are on to you, buddy. Mr. Buckeye Jr. Is your dad the Bucknut? Is your dad the Bucknut?
No, I actually met his son, though, one time when I lived in Columbus for a while. He's a really nice family.
God, man.
But real quick.
It's funny to me, though, that you have this reputation. You're a little too nice with us. And the Notre Dame people they're starting to question you because you're so nice to me. Start being more of a jerk. You'll blend in.
Well, you know what? I cannot wait till the big game. And I'm really hoping that you can somehow do a tailgate show. Like I said, I have an aunt that lives there. She lives like a stone's throw away from the parking lot across from, I think, the ice arena. So I can't.
What is that? Compton? I think that's called the Compton Center, something like that. Not Compton like LA Compton. Not Compton like Death Row Compton. Compton like South Bend Compton.
She lives off of Warwick. So wherever that's at, it's like right next to, I could tell you the parking lot. Geez. You know Notre Dame a lot better than I do. To talk a little bit of trash, I guess, since people want to hear that, you always talk about games that you remember. And there's this one game that I remember that Notre Dame played in. And my grandpa's the biggest Notre Dame fan.
It's a good man.
My mom's side of the family, they're all Notre Dame fans. But one of the funniest games I can ever remember was I was over at his house, and it was Notre Dame versus Michigan State, and this has to be about 15 years ago. And they were going to kick a field goal to tie the game, and Michigan State decides to fake it, and they are able to score a touchdown to win in overtime.
Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? That play was illegal. That play was illegal. They snapped the ball. The zeros were on the clock, and they snapped the ball. And then they won, and they threw the pass, and then Kelly turned purple-faced. I remember all of it.
All I got to say,
shouldn't even have been allowed.
The coach for Michigan State was never the same after that because he had a heart attack after that game. But my grandpa about had a heart attack watching that.
That was, I'm still not over it. I am still not over that. All right. Can I you're in a bad spot, my friend. You're one of the few people who call this show that are Big Ten guys, not Notre Dame guys.
Yeah.
Can I tell you something that's really going to piss me off? And you're the one getting the wrath of it because you're the Big Ten spokesman on this program because 99% of these people are Notre Dame guys. All right? I'm going to tell you, this is going to piss me off. Every day of my existence on Twitter, I hear Notre Dame should join the Big Ten. It's a natural fit. Geography, history, rivalries, the academics, it'd be good for money. Like every day I hear from fans of all these Big Ten teams saying it's a natural geographical fit. Notre Dame should join. You guys should just do it. Give up the independence. It'd be good for us all. All right. You know damn well the second Notre Dame does that, all those same people are going to tweet me, look at you losers. You couldn't do it your way. You had to join our way because you couldn't get over the hump your way. And you realized you weren't going to win your way. Now you got to crawl back to us and beg to be a part of your conference. Look at you losers. You couldn't do it your way. That's going to piss me off.
You know, I think maybe you'll get that from the Michigan fans. But in all seriousness, though,
it would be a win. Honestly, it'd be a win for everybody in every single way. It really would be. It'd be a win for everybody in every single way. Other than me giving up my independence, it's a win for everybody in every way. The Big Ten would benefit. Notre Dame would benefit. Everybody would. It'd be a good deal. If we had to do it, that's where you'd go.
Yeah, and with the playoffs going to 12. So one thing too with Notre Dame, like not being able to play for stuff in a conference, and then all of a sudden being able to play for stuff in a conference, it completely changes the dynamic of the season. And like now with 2 losses, you can still do a ton of things in a conference. Like just because you have 2 losses doesn't mean you're going to be out of it, especially if you got these conferences that have 20 teams and it's going to be divisions and all that type of thing. So I think it's a win-win. Also too, I think if I'm the Big Ten, I'm trying to force this to happen. And I tell USC, I tell UCLA, I tell all the teams in the Big Ten, don't schedule Notre Dame until they come in.
Oh, look at you. Look at you. No. You know what you sound like? What do you sound like? Fielding Yost. I'm going to call you Fielding Yost Jr. there up in Michigan. Hating on me for my Irish Catholic values. Look at you. You sound like the spawn of him.
Well, you know what I'll say? They will give Notre Dame a sweetheart deal and buy out that $30 million buyout. That's nothing when you're talking about these.
When you're talking about that money, that is nothing.
Deal.
Yeah, you're right. That is nothing.
The other thing too, and I'm not sure how this works with the ACC and everything, but like, so NBC only gets half of Notre Dame's games, or maybe 60% of their games. So, like, I don't know if that determines like what the contract's going to be. If they're also getting some sort of revenue from the ACC for their games. But I'm thinking if they were to join the Big Ten, I mean, then you're able to basically, use all your games because they're going to go through Fox or NBC, and it's going to be league games. And I do think there's, Pat was saying 9-game schedules for conferences, but that's already happening. The Pac-12 USC has been doing a 9-game conference schedule for a long time.
Yeah,
I think they will go to 10 games though. I really do. And when they go to a 10-game conference, I'll say this: you're gonna really be thankful that Rutgers is on the schedule, because it's gonna be, besides that week, it's gonna be a lot of really good teams.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Now, it's really interesting, and the big kicker to me, man, is I got to admit, USC joining the Big Ten changed my mind in a lot of ways. Like, I'm an independent guy. I'm loyal to that as long as we're still able to win a title, in my opinion, doing it that way. But I admit, when USC joined, I sat there and I was like, man, if this is calling Notre Dame's name, you have everything you could want. All the regular Big Ten rivalries. And then, oh, by the way, the one team you value playing more than anything else is in the conference too. It would be a good deal for everybody involved. I just don't want to do it.
So my question for you is this. Okay, let's assume Notre Dame, and it sounds like it's kind of it's going to happen. They do join the Big Ten. What are some other teams that you would also want to be in the Big Ten that are maybe in the ACC, or do you want to, or maybe right now the Pac-12? Are there any other teams that you would personally want in as a Notre Dame fan?
Who I've heard come up over and over and over again is Stanford. They have come up over and over and over again, and it has nothing to do. I don't even think it's like athletics. I think it's what Stanford means nationwide, like their brand of Stanford, like smart school. They're the one that keeps coming up over and over again out of the Pac-12. They keep coming up, and I think it's just a great blend of all they bring in the world of academia and all that. They keep coming up. If you transfer it over to the ACC, I could see a team like North Carolina being a good fit. I could see a team like even Duke being a good fit, kind of in that Big Ten mold in a lot of sports. I could see those. People are putting in Oregon and Washington. I don't know what Washington's money's like, but I know Oregon has dough because they got that Nike dough. And so Oregon, I think, could be
Yeah.
in the catbird seat because you have Nike money and you could do what you want to do. But then my question is, what happens to the Pac-12? You're going to lose UCLA. You're going to lose USC. If Oregon leaves, what are you doing in the Pac-12 then? Nothing? Folding and joining the Big 12 or what? What do we do?
Oh, I don't know. If they were to join, there's no more. They're part of the Big 12 or the Mountain West or something. Some of those littler teams in those schools or in that league. My question is this: if I'm the Big 10, let's say you do get the 4 teams out west, you get Notre Dame, or maybe you have 5 teams out west, you get Notre Dame. You want to try to, Big 10, maybe they want to do 20 teams where it's like 10-10. Are you going to try to go? See, I would try to go after places with hotbeds in recruiting. So I would look to like a Miami. I would look to like maybe North Carolina's kind of an up and rising state.
Yeah.
The other school, this is kind of a hidden gem, I think. The way that Georgia right now is just so loaded with prospects would be like a Georgia Tech or in Atlanta. Like that's a huge
man. But wait, but you're thinking of this 3 layers deep. Like you're thinking of this a lot deeper than I think they are. You're looking at those recruiting op-eds and where's the talent and all that. Like I don't know if it goes that deep as far as what they're looking at. But let me bring this up to you. All of these conferences are going to be soon is in name. Because it has nothing to do with geographics anymore at all. Once USC's in the Big 10, flying to Penn State or flying to New York to play Rutgers, all of these conferences are nothing other than money allegiances now. They have nothing to do with different styles of play and regions of the country, right? Like, it's over.
Right,
all of that's over now. You don't have any of that anymore now. It's jump in to get the best TV deal you can while you can get it, is what it feels like to me. Am I wrong?
Well, to me, it feels like it's turning into a small NFL where you're going to have, 2 leagues, AFC, NFC, SEC, Big 10, and then you're going to have divisions in those leagues. So winning your division is going to be key. And then maybe week 12, I think I talked about this, week 12, it'll be like a variable week where, your top teams play each other. Maybe your top seeds and you have one, maybe like you'd have maybe 3 divisions, but then you'd have one, like, I don't have the word off the top of my head, like a wild card team. And then you have like your 3 versus the other 3 in the other division. And you have kind of like a wild weekend. That would be great TV, if they want to do that. But so in some ways, if they do it by divisions, then that would maybe keep it local. And then you just wouldn't have any out of conference real games. That would be in the playoff, would be all your out of conference big games. So that's probably what will happen.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. It's a wild time. And you know what bothers me with all this? It all comes home to this. It bothers me that we have all this history and decades and 100 years of history. It all comes down to money in the end. And Notre Dame knows that. They need to be competitive and viable financially compared to the SEC and the Big 10 deals. And that is dictating all this. And I hate it. I hate being a guy like follow the money, but you have no choice. You have no choice. You have to keep up in resources with those keeping up in resources, or you're going to be left behind for dead. You have no choice. You got to go wherever the money is. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely, you know what, this is all due to NIL pretty much. And I think that's the kind of the professionalization of collegiate athletes is ruining college football, but I don't know, I don't know how you stop it. It's like, well, how do you stop all the stuff that's going on in the country? So it just keeps happening.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's rough, man. I don't know. It's just, I value independence because of the history and what it's meant to Notre Dame, all of our existences. However, I also have to value what could be. It's not all over. I need to put Notre Dame in a position to add a trophy to that case. And I need to do whatever it takes to do that, even if I'm uncomfortable. And I hate it, man. I don't like it.
Hey, if you get to put divisional conference titles in there, you'll be able to expand that trophy case, and you'll be playing for more things in the season than you would have ever before.
Look at this.
And I think that
Look at this. I don't want to worry about a division. We're not used to divisions. You either win a postseason trophy or the year is garbage. What is this division crap?
You want to, hey, if I'd sell this to Jack, I would sell it this way to Jack. Hey, Jack, once you have 2 losses, you're still going to be in it. That game against Indiana, do you want to be playing Indiana or you want to be playing North Carolina State for nothing?
Yeah.
So at home.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nope. Hey, that's a fair
low
point.
Level competition.
Look at this, man. Hey,
Yep.
Hey, you're taking some shit here. I got a message. It says, John, you're letting other fan bases run this show. Damn it. Stop it. You better stop it. But listen, I don't look at it that way. I think it's important to have people like you that have other allegiances, but are fairly honest about how you look at Notre Dame's position in the world. I think that's a healthy perspective to have here. And if I thought you were unfair to Notre Dame, I wouldn't give you the time I do every week. But I think you're fair, and so you've earned the time, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. Two real quick points, and then I'll let you go, and I'll let other fans get to it. But my first point is, so in 2021, I just looked up the per game by million average for Notre Dame viewership. It was 2021 was 2.8 million viewers per game. So, that's with an 11-1 season. Now, you guys didn't play that many great teams at the end of the day, just UC pretty much. But if you look at this year, it popped up to 3.3 million.
Yeah, and it was
you had a better schedule with Ohio State.
You already triggered me. You already triggered me. That was Cincinnati. Wait. Cincinnati at home was Brian Kelly's toughest game of the year, and he could not handle it. Not USC, not anybody else. Cincinnati at Notre Dame Stadium was the toughest game of the year, and Brian Kelly could not find a way to get his boys to win that game, and I am still not over it. Proceed, sir.
Okay. I'm just saying this in the fact that I think also too, if you look at Notre Dame fans, they agree with you because it's 2.8 million. Now, last year, after Ohio State, you also lost to Marshall the week before. But if you look at, or the week after, but if you look at your game average, it jumped from 2.8 in 2021 to 3.3. So that has I think it's a combination of playing a few better, bigger name teams, but also the new coach. So you guys kind of got a little bit of a bump with the new coach and kind of the excitement behind that. It might be time to use that wave to bring it in to the Big Ten, because you might have some more leverage. You might be able to get a better sweetheart deal somehow.
Yeah.
I'm sure that could happen.
Yeah.
But, and then my last point, real quick, is my aunt. So she lives across the street from the Bulla student lot. I don't know if you know where that's at. But
gotcha. All right. You're right there, man. You couldn't be any closer. It's physically impossible to be closer than that.
Yeah. So, just you have my number. Give me a call. I'll see that Chicago area code.
Yeah, but the problem is, are you sure your aunt's okay with some lunatic Notre Dame guy who yells in his basement raiding her home? Are you sure she would be okay with that?
Well, you know what? I'll talk with her, but I'm sure I can sweeten the deal for her. But we'll have to talk about the details.
I'll tell you what, man. I wrote your number down from last week. I will. I'll text you or call you. We'll talk about this a little bit. I appreciate the offer.
Okay.
And I also, hey, listen. I appreciate you not being a Notre Dame fan, but being pretty fair in the way you look at us. I value that on this show, and I thank you for it.
Well, like all our Big Ten members, we are very fair, and we pay out the similar amount to all of them. So come and join us.
Not all of you. Not all of you are. Don't talk to you. Don't. The Michigan people aren't gonna. There's a reason I don't have any nice Michigan people calling me. Okay. There's a reason. All right.
Okay.
But hey, thank you, man. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Hey, if there's one thing you and I are always, going to agree on, it's that. Okay, we're always going to have that in common. Have a good weekend, buddy.
Agree.
Have a good weekend.
Night.
I'll text you. No, I'm not going to say that, but have a good weekend anyways. See ya later. Bucknut. Later, Bucknut. Oh, man. All right, wait. We got a $5 holler. John, Adam, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me, Adam. Don't do it. John, I can't. This is triggering me. $5 holler from Adam. John, start hanging division and conference championship banners in the tunnel. I can't. I'm sorry. It's just hard for me to conceptualize the idea of that. Forgive me that I like the old way. You either win a championship or nothing you did that year matters. You're dead. There is no division. There is no conference. You either win it all and you're the best, or nobody gives a shit what you did. I respect that history. I just don't know if we could survive doing it that way. The money's the money. It isn't what I want. It's the money's the money. I hate that it just comes down to money, but I don't know what to say. Money's money. You need it. All right. What else was this? There was something else I was going to. Here we go. Robert says, too bad, John. This is a Notre Dame show on a Saturday night. Listen, man. 99.99999% of the phone calls I take on this show, Monday morning, Wednesday morning, Friday morning, and Saturday night. All right? 99.999% of them are Notre Dame fans. I think it's healthy to balance out the ecosystem, at least with one person who isn't predisposed to Notre Dameness. I think that's healthy. And when I find a guy that knows about football and is fair about Notre Dame, but isn't a Notre Dame fan, I find that to be a valuable attribute to the show. I just do. I find that to be healthy. It's a healthy dynamic. And when a guy's fair, I like that balance of seeing what does Notre Dame look like to you as not a Notre Dame fan. I find value in that. Like, I do. But if he was a prick, or if he was being an idiot, or like ripping on Notre Dame or anything, he'd be one call and dead to me. You know that. You know that. But I need some differing opinions in here of people that aren't all from our camp. That's healthy. What I want to avoid is a situation where everybody's in here, oh, Notre Dame, Notre Dame, Notre Dame. Notre Dame, no matter what, that's not healthy. We might like it. It might make us comfortable, but that's not a healthy dynamic. I need a little elixir in there. I need something every once in a while, somebody that isn't coming from this with all Notre Dame front, like first and foremost. I hope you guys understand that. And I wouldn't allow it if the guy was a prick. If it was any Michigan guy, you're dead to me. You would never have 1 minute on this air. But the fact that it's a guy that actually is pretty fair to Notre Dame, it's healthy. I hope you guys understand that. Understand that. Oh, what do we got here? 219, you're on the line. Welcome to Always Irish. What's up?
Hello.
What's going on? Thanks for calling Always Irish. What's on your mind tonight?
Hey, John, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, my friend. What's going on?
Well, I'm headed down the highway deep behind enemy lines right now.
Where are you at?
I am in the Columbus, Ohio area.
Oh, boy. Look at you. Look at you in Ohio State territory. Get out of Dodge fast. Speed through that town.
I am. I'm heading back to St. Joe County, Indiana.
There you go. Come bring it back home, baby. Yeah. Bring it back home, baby. Hey, thanks for calling. What's on your mind, man? What do you feel like Notre Dame might be forced to join the Big Ten soon, or am I just worrying for no reason?
Okay, first off, I will address that. If Notre Dame wants to join a conference, the conference they need to join is the SEC, not the Big Ten.
Do you think that is realistic or would ever happen? I believe that for academic reasons, Notre Dame would not find the SEC to be the best fit. And I could be wrong, but that's my interpretation based off what I know. What do you think?
I don't believe that it is reality either. But if they were going to join a conference for the recruiting standpoint, to open it up in the South, the SEC is where they need to go. But with that being said, on this show, we talk about the Big Three often. And 3 seems to be a number that is going with Marcus Freeman's tenure at Notre Dame. For example, he started off 0-3. In this recruiting cycle, he was 0-3 on our top 3 recruits.
I don't like that. I don't like that. Dude, that upsets me so much. You're not wrong, but I just hate hearing it. I got to tell you, you're not wrong, but I am devastated hearing you say it because you're right, and I don't like it.
And I believe that after year 3, Marcus Freeman and Jack Schwarber will no longer be associated with Notre Dame, and they're going to clean house.
Wow. Wow. Wait a second. So what do you mean by that? What, Jack retires and Marcus goes and coaches somewhere else? What are you drawing up here? What's the map?
I have predicted this season to be 7-5 multiple times. And I may be being generous with my predictions.
If Notre Dame goes 7-5, I am going to have a stroke on the air and the show will no longer exist, okay?
Here's the thing. When we play Ohio State, one way or another, the time clock starts ticking on when Freeman's time as head coach ends. If we win or lose.
Man, I'm telling you, you are not the first guy that has brought this up to me. And then I say to you, where in the hell was this high bar of standard the last 30 years of my life? Why does it all kick in now on Freeman? Where is this high standard the last 30 years? How is it just now? Magically, Marcus has got to do it all, but before they accepted garbage for decades. How does that switch turn?
All that will be irrelevant. If Marcus Freeman and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish lose, I have them going into Ohio State with 1 loss. Okay, here's another big three. The three teams that are on the schedule this year that Sam Harton faced last year.
Yeah.
They beat him. They beat him every game. And North Carolina State sat him on the bench with 5 picks. My only allegiance in sports is Notre Dame football. I will follow the Bears if they make the playoffs, but that's very rare. The only sport I watch is Notre Dame football.
Dude, you are dropping like death bombs on us at 10 o'clock on a Saturday night. You're dropping death bombs on Notre Dame, death bombs on Marcus Freeman. You're not the first guy I've heard say the pressure's ramping up on Freeman. How in the hell is there all this pressure on him in year 2? But all of these other guys the last 30 years had like a bunch of years. I don't get it. What is different? Notre Dame hasn't changed. No. What is different? Tell me the difference. Why is there a different standard on Freeman than any of the other guys without any of the infrastructure changing? It makes no sense. Make it make sense. How can that be?
Bob Davie was not coached for long. Tyrone Willingham was not coached for a long tenure. So to say that there has not been any other standards on any other coaches, the year Kelly went 4-8, he got a pass on that. I was ready for him to go before that year.
Yeah. That's the only, hey, buddy, that's the only reason this show exists is the fact that Kelly went 4-8 in 2016. That's what started this show. So maybe I owe him a thank you.
I've been watching, I've been listening to you basically from the beginning. When I found this channel, you had less than 200 subscribers.
I appreciate the loyalty. I appreciate the loyalty, but it all started in 2016 when he went 4-8 and nobody batted an eye and they let him work through it. Now the standard's 10-2 in 2 years. You're out of here.
I mean, I don't make the rules up, but what I do know is that when this Ohio State game happens, if Notre Dame loses,
but wait. All right, I'm trying to stay calm and I'm struggling. Explain to me why the standard instantly gets so much higher for Marcus Freeman than anybody else. I don't understand why it's do or die. The guy's got to be elite right now, but none of these other guys had that standard. What has changed? What has changed? Why would it be different?
Part of that, I would guess, is because he took over a team that had been winning 10 games a season.
You're gonna tell me that roster was a great winning high level roster when Freeman took over? They had no quarterback. They had 0 quarterbacks, 0 wide receivers. Like, give me a break. You can't tell me that was a well-rounded team last year. It wasn't. You had no quarterback you trust and no wide receivers.
I'm not saying that was a well-rounded team. But I am saying this, is that if you don't like the roster that we had last year or this year, with the way recruiting's going, you're not going to like it for the next 3 to 5 years or however long they give Freeman to try to manage it.
Well, then that's a different issue. That's a totally different issue because now you're talking about that's multiple years down the road. If the way he's recruiting doesn't pay off in 2, 3, 4 years, then I'm a lot more open to listening to your opinion on the hot seat. But in my opinion, we're 2, 3 years away from that even being a discussion. You have got to let this guy flip the roster in his vision and see what that looks like before we get to that point. Don't you agree? You got to give the guy 2 or 3 more years, let him flip that old roster and see what we're cooking with, right?
I mean, to some degree, yes, I do agree with that statement. But here's the thing. Like I said earlier, when that Ohio State game happens, win or lose, the clock ticks on how long Freeman's going to be here. If we win, and then Michigan beats Ohio State, guess who?
I can't intellectually. I can't handle this. I don't understand. Why was Kelly able to dick around for over a decade without ever winning anything any of us care about or value, with no heat, and now Marcus is 1 year in and we're running him out of town? Explain to me what I missed. What changed? I don't get it. What changed? Kelly dicked around for over a decade and left on his own accord. Now Freeman's getting rode out in a year. What changed structurally?
I don't have the answer to that question.
But then why do you call in feeling like the heat is on? What is making you feel like that heat's there?
The fact that we lost all the games we lost last year. When Freeman was hired, I was super excited for him to have an opportunity. And then I seen him play. Then I seen him coach. We went out against Oklahoma State, blew the game wide open. And they come back in the last minute and beat us when we were still sitting on a timeout and could have kicked the field goal, but because of Freeman's inexperienced coaching, that didn't happen.
Are you talking about? Oh, wait. Are you talking about the bowl game, the first year when Freeman got the job for 2 weeks and had to try and figure everything out in like a 3-week span, and then you're holding the Fiesta Bowl over Freeman? Is that what we're doing?
That was my first red flag. And not because...
What about, okay, let me ask this. What about the quarterback, the most important individual position in all of sports, going down in week 2 last year? That doesn't build you any consideration at all, that the starting quarterback went down? That doesn't buy Freeman any leeway at all in your mind? None?
I mean, okay. When you ask that question, it's a loaded question because it's already been comments made on this program that Tyler Buchner isn't a good quarterback. You know, he can't play, and blah, 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 blah. So if that's the narrative we're going to take, that Buchner sucks, what makes you think it would have been any different had he been the quarterback instead of mine?
I'm saying, don't you think you need to let Freeman get his own guys in there and see what that looks like for a couple years and get all the Kelly-ness out of here? Isn't that fair? Let the guy get his own guys in there for a few years, see what Freeman's first main quarterback looks like, and go from there. I just can't. It upsets me. It upsets me that Kelly got to do whatever he wanted for over a decade and nobody said shit. And now 1 year in, everybody wants to ride Marcus out of town. I have a very hard time making that make sense.
All I can say is the season's going to have to play out. And regardless of how it does play out, that Ohio State game is going to determine a lot for Marcus Freeman's future, either staying at Notre Dame or going to go coach at Ohio State.
Man, yeah, wait a second. Yeah, you know what's messed up with that? You could argue that if let me blow your mind, man. You could argue that if Marcus Freeman beats Ohio State, it's more likely he's not the Notre Dame coach because they might run Ryan Day out of town and then he takes that job. Look at that. I just brought it full circle.
Yeah. Either that will happen Or my more likely scenario is Notre Dame loses that game, and it's a domino effect, and they end up, 7-5, 5-7.
I'm telling you, I can't listen. I am all about Notre Dame having a high standards for the football coach and the football program. But it blows my mind how many people were more than willing to let Kelly dick around and do whatever he wanted for over a decade. And Marcus Freeman, everybody wants to crucify the guy after 1 or 2 years. I cannot make that make logical sense to me. I can't. I don't get it. What has changed? Wait. What has changed? If the program opened up NIL or loosened up academics and the standards were different, then I could understand a different standard. But I just don't get how nobody was saying any of this to me all through Kelly winning nothing. This guy's in 1 year in and we want to run him out of town. I don't get it. Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
I don't have an answer why they let Kelly stay as long as they did, and I also don't want to be put in a position where I feel like I'm having to defend Brian Kelly when I was not a fan of his towards the end because of all those big game losses. But here's one thing I will say.
Yeah, all the big game losses, and also, by the way, he refused to go recruit, even on the private jet. Didn't want to leave South Bend. Refused to get off the couch. That's a problem, too.
Well, I think Freeman's been on vacation for 3 weeks. I don't know what's going on with that, but here may be one reason why Kelly had a longer leash than Freeman. He was an experienced coach with championship credentials.
Yeah. And then what? Championship credentials before Notre Dame. So we're already a decade plus out of his credentials. If that's what you're going to say, I agree with you. But then at Notre Dame, you're already a decade removed from those credentials with Kelly.
I agree. And as I said, I don't know. I don't have the answers.
But what's making you? But wait, all right, wait. Is this you personally feeling like, depending on this year, maybe Freeman's in trouble? Or are you telling me you think the actual administration is going to think that? Those are two different things. If you're telling me you feel like Freeman should be on the hot seat if they don't go 10-2 or better or whatever, I could engage that conversation. But if you tell me the administration, then I have a problem because their standards are not consistent, and then I have an issue.
Well, I do not believe that he'll be in trouble with the administration. It'll be from fans like me who will start saying, hey, this guy's not the right guy. We should have never hired him. Okay? He was third choice. Again, number 3 coming back up.
Who would be one and whoa. Who are 1 and 2?
The guy from Cincinnati.
Not interested. Next. Not interested. Next. All that guy is Brian Kelly Part 2. Not interested. Next.
There's another guy. He was out west. I can't think of what team or who he was, but there was a second guy. He was not interested in Notre Dame either. And this is how we ended up with Freeman, which, like I said, at the time I thought was a good hire. But what I've seen from last year, again, when your head coach goes out on national TV against USC and on a hot mic says, hey, take it easy on me, I'm still learning. As soon as I heard that, I knew the team was not going to be ready because the coach wasn't ready.
So would you feel that much better? Like, what did you want? Luke Fickell? Who did you want to be in charge?
I don't know. I don't have a name of exactly who I want, but I do have a checklist of things I want that person to have in their arsenal for what they bring to the table.
And is some of that experience that Freeman doesn't have?
Yes, definitely experience.
Yep. Hey,
right now, when
I get that argument. Listen, that part of this argument I will listen to. And that is where Freeman needs to do his part. And by that, I mean, what I was willing to sacrifice in experience from Freeman, I expected to make up in elite recruiting. And he needs to hold up that end of the deal. I was willing to make that swap, trading experience for elite recruiting instantly. I do agree. I need to see that part hold up.
How many times, I'm going to say probably half a dozen times, we've seen Notre Dame come out under Freeman and blow the game wide open, only for halftime to come around. And now next thing you know, Navy's scoring 35 unanswered points. And we're barely beating them by 3 points last year.
Yeah, but dude, but with Kelly, I could say there were 20 games where Brian Kelly Notre Dame team should have beat a team by 3 scores, and they didn't, and I was sweating and my hair was falling out, and we win by a field goal at the end, right? Like, I could say that about Kelly almost every week, that we should have blown somebody out, and we didn't. It was too close.
Kelly is not my benchmark of what I'm looking for. He's closer than what Freeman was, or is. But no, Brian Kelly couldn't win the big game. We all know that. That's well established. I'm not comparing Freeman and Kelly.
So let me ask this. Let me ask this. What is your confidence level that Marcus Freeman is going to learn and pick up all the things you want him to and be successful at Notre Dame at a high level? Are you out on that, or are you open to the idea that in a year or two, it might be there, what you're looking for? Or are you just out? You saw year one and you're out.
I don't have a lot of confidence that I don't like the head coach as a defensive coordinator or as a defensive-minded guy. I would prefer him to be offensive-minded, which Freeman's own words from last year, don't ask him about anything about the offense. All those questions will go to Tommy. That's his area. Okay? Freeman's expertise is defense, but I don't even see him leaning into that. Like, I don't know what – is there a group that Freeman works with more than others? Does he work with any of them? You know,
yeah, and the other thing is, like, again, you do bring up a fair point. Maybe some of that is year one. You're getting into the job and you're that guy, and then you got to figure out where to allocate your time, like big picture CEO versus being in the nitty gritty with the defense. Like, I could see there being a calibration of how he wants to divide out his time and figuring that out. I think some of that's natural when you have a first-time head coach.
Well, I think that Freeman should rely on his strength, which is coaching defense. That's what's got him here. And I think he should be more involved. I mean, even to the point where maybe he should be defensive coordinator and head coach. I don't know if that's possible, but the defense was okay under him. But it just don't seem to be that he's leaning into that. And, like, you know, linebackers, that's what he was coaching. You know, I don't understand why he wouldn't rely on what his strength is and where his knowledge base is at. As opposed to, you know, I don't know what Freeman coaches or, you know, what he's doing or, you know, we just don't know. And then, you know, when you come in and you don't even have an offense of your own or even a defense of your own, again, is that an experience? Is it, you know, what is that? Because we're running everything the same as when Kelly was here.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man, I just think you got to give Freeman a couple years to be able to flip things. Over half of the 21 recruiting class is no longer at Notre Dame. Freeman has a vision. He's trying to flip the roster. I at least want to see what this looks like with Freeman's guys. And we're in that transition.
If that's the position you take, which is very fair, and I agree 100%, but if you're going to lose a bunch of games this year, and then all of a sudden, CJ Carr decides he's going somewhere else, and his buddy Williams is going with him.
Yeah.
Okay, now what are we looking at?
Yeah, now you're looking at a nightmare. Now you're looking at my hair falling out on the air. That's what you're looking at then, is my hairline falling out on the air. But I don't think, come on, 7-5, the only way Notre Dame loses 5 games is if half the team gets broken legs. How are they going to lose 5 games? There's no way.
I think they're going to lose at least 2 of the 3 big games. Possibly all 3. I think we could get Clemson.
But then you're talking about Marshall and Stanford and one more from last year. Dude, if that happens this year, then I might be right there with you. But I just don't see that happening, barring catastrophic injury all over the roster.
Well, I agree. I would hope that don't happen. But after what we've seen last year, we should have lost to California. That Navy scoring 35 unanswered. I don't know if Navy's ever done that in the history of Navy football.
Let me ask you this. How good did you think that roster was that Freeman inherited? Because I knew it had flaws all over the place. Quarterback and wide receiver first and foremost. I knew that roster was in trouble even before the quarterback injury. And that is a direct indictment on Kelly and his staff and their lack of recruiting and development year on year on year that compounded and all exploded in Marcus's lap last year while Kelly was at Mardi Gras flashing for some beads.
Yes, but this has been going on. This has been the narrative. Notre Dame, they've been done having quarterback problems. Every recruit we've got, how many times have we heard it? Going all the way back to when Gunnar Keel signed, 5-star. Boom, never seen the field. The quarterbacks under Kelly, 5-star. Dane Chris, never amounted to anything. I don't think he got a fair chance.
What about Philly Yurkovich, right?
I'm talking, Phil Yurkovich.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be the speaker. Buckner, he was supposed to come in, and he was going to be, and none of these guys never pan out. So
yeah. So why don't you blame Kelly for that? Why is that Marcus's problem? Those are all Kelly mistakes, not Marcus.
The quarterback problem that Freeman is facing is Kelly dealt with it year in and year out also.
Kelly was the reason for the problem. Kelly was the reason this problem exists now because he refused to recruit quarterbacks correctly and develop them. Kelly's the reason we're in this.
Well, Kelly's not here. We got to keep that in mind first and foremost.
Oh,
Kelly's
yeah. Oh,
here.
trust me. I do keep it in mind how the guy created a nightmare and then was able to escape dodge before it landed in his lap and the grenade went off. I think about it every day. There is no one person on this earth that is more aware of all the holes on that roster than that guy in the swamp right now. He knew the problem he allowed to create, and he got the hell out of there before he had to deal with it, and I credit him for that. It was good for him, good for his ego, and bad for my airline.
Well, and now Freeman's here to fix it, and either he'll do it, or he'll lose a bunch of games this year, and he'll lose all his top recruits, and he will never have the opportunity to win with the guys he brings in. Let him lose Carr, let him lose Williams, and
man, this is dark. I'm telling you, brother, I love you, but you're painting a dark picture, man. I don't like the way this is turning.
I don't like it either, but it is reality, and like I said, I just can see them losing games this year and a bunch of them, just like last year.
Where is most of your concern on the roster? Is it offensively or defensively? Where do you see the biggest weakness?
Well, quarterback definitely is a question mark. Obviously, safety is very weak right now.
Wait a second. What do you mean quarterback's a question mark? If Hartman's healthy, he's better than anything Notre Dame's had in like the last 20 years. That's not a question mark. Even at his lowest level of as far as being healthy, Hartman's providing you more capability than anything we've had in 20 years, man. That's not a question. Of all the ones I have, that ain't one.
Well, I was looking more into the future, but speaking of Hartman this year, Hartman also has thrown 25 picks over the last 2 seasons.
All right. You want to know what my response to that is? My response to that is the other guy that could have been quarterback has just as many pick sixes as he does touchdown passes. So pick your poison. I'll take the guy with a lot of turnovers, but way more touchdowns and yards than the other guy with a lot of turnovers and not a lot of touchdowns and yards. If you want to go there, I'll go there, and Hartman still wins it over Buckner.
Well, with that being said, free safety, definitely an issue.
Don't
the
you?
Middle of the defensive line. I mean, why aren't we getting this Scott kid from Chicago? Freeman's the master recruiter. Why can't you land this guy who's in your backyard, who on this show, as was said, he checks all the boxes. Just like when we lost Shipley or, to he checked all the boxes.
Hey, you know what, buddy? Hey, listen, you are an old school guy because you remember me going off about Shipley checking all the boxes and we didn't get him. You are an old school guy. I give you credit for that because I lost my mind over that one. I mean, I don't know. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Tell Freeman that it's his fault if a guy wants NIL or doesn't want to live in the Midwest? That's his fault suddenly? I don't know how much I could do about that.
Well, I think that we can take the title away from Freeman of being this mastermind recruiter. I think that's one thing that we can say, hey, he's got a lot of room for improvement on recruiting at this point in time.
Yeah, at this point in time. Kelly had a large room to improve his whole entire tenure, and nobody said shit. I just don't get how the standard has changed this drastically. Kelly was allowed to literally not get off his ass and recruit. And now after a year, we're nailing Freeman. I just don't get why the standard changed without anything practical changing. What changed?
What 8-4 was last year. This year, they could very easily be well under 7-5.
The statistical likelihood of that I've looked up is under 2% of them going 7-5 or lower. The statistical percentage of that likelihood is 1.7% that they go under 7-5. The only way it happens is if 80 guys get their legs broken.
Well, time will tell. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I would like to see them win. I think we got a good chance of beating Navy week 1 without that coach that they had. I think if they had the same coach, Navy last year won 2 games. And they scored 35 unanswered points against Notre Dame defense. I cannot understand that. How you let that happen.
It was not ideal. It was not ideal at all. I agree on that.
And we're lucky if they don't still have that same head coach because he would come in there believing he could win, and then you let Hartman throw 2 or 3 picks in that game like Hartman does, and Navy sits on the football and boom, you lost week 1 against Navy.
Man, I want you to be so wrong. Like, I get where you're coming from. I just want you to be so wrong. And I believe
that North Carolina State is going to have all the confidence in the world that they're going to manhandle Hartman. And I believe that could possibly be the first loss.
Well,
And now you're going into
yeah. Then you're in big trouble then, because then you go into Ohio State, and if you lose that one, you have 2 losses before you're halfway through the year, and then it's a nightmare. I totally agree with you on that. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. They cannot lose a game before Ohio State.
There's already reports that some guys in the locker room aren't sold on the way Freeman's doing things. So now you let some things like that happen. A loss to North Carolina State, you get beat by Ohio State, and guys are just going to start checking out.
I'm telling you what, man, you're painting a dark picture here on a Saturday night. I appreciate that you're a longtime guy, but your call was depressing.
You never know what can happen. I don't know. Hartman could go out. He could be all that. And these new receivers we got could be lighting it up. I mean, I think our running back room is stacked.
Yeah.
I think our offensive line, our tackles are good. I hope Fisher actually, he's a good player. I would like to see him live up to the hype. He was going to be the next, 15-year All-Pro in the NFL. I don't think he's fighting on that level, but he's good. The middle, so we got that going. We got tackles. We got running backs. These new linebackers, these young guys, they should be able to do something. We got the one All-American corner. But is that going to be enough when you don't have any other corners? You don't have any safety help, and you have no proven pass rush. Although I think Vitello and the Ohio State transfer could make a good tandem.
Yeah,
but I don't know,
man. I just you're painting a dark pathway, and even me, I usually tend to err on the side of the glass half empty. You're painting a dark picture, and it rubs me the wrong way how this standard that never existed for Kelly is magically there for this guy overnight. It blows my mind. Listen, everything you're bringing up, I hope it doesn't happen, man. I do. I appreciate you bringing it up, but I don't want any of it to happen. This is a sad call.
I don't root for this stuff to happen. I don't sit back and watch and think, oh, I want Notre Dame to lose games because I said they were going to lose this one. No,
yeah.
That's not.
Yeah.
I'll root against Notre Dame.
Yeah, man, it's just rough.
I would never bet against them.
Yeah. Man, this is just tough. It's a tough call, man. This is a tough call on a Saturday night. Listen, I appreciate you calling. I appreciate your concerns, but you just cost me a year off my life from all that yelling I did. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, John. And I always enjoy the show. And, I hope things can get back on track and I can have some confidence in Freeman and the team and I can start putting some money down and winning.
There you go.
I did.
There you go. Hey, man, listen. Hey, I really appreciate that you've been around here that long, that many years. Thank you, man. Even if I don't like what you called in with tonight, I appreciate you being a longtime guy. Appreciate it. Thank you, man.
Great show, John. Best one on YouTube. Hands down.
Thank you, man. Have a good weekend. Take care.
You too. Thank you.
Bro, my mind is shot. Like I can't conceptualize how Kelly was able to do whatever he wanted, build things up, burn them down horrifically, never win a major bowl game. Anybody cared about. Kelly could just do whatever he wanted and nobody said anything. And now Freeman's 1 year in and he's like on the hot seat. Like, there's no way I can make that make sense. It's blown my brain out. Where did these standards come from that didn't exist even 2 years ago? Without structural change in Notre Dame that changes it. I can't get there. I can't make it make sense. And then I got Robert telling me 99 out of 100 phone calls in this program as a Notre Dame lover, I take one Ohio State call, and now it's always Buckeye. I got this guy telling me Freeman should be run out of town after 1 year. I got this guy telling me I'm the always buck nut. Am I losing my mind? What is happening tonight? All right. Here's the deal. We've gone 2.5 hours. We're ending this show right now. I got to get my mind right. We have gone 2.5 hours. I have a full call bank, but I have things I need to do tonight already. And I know it's my fault. I gave people too much time. We've gone 2.5 hours. My mind is racked from this last call. We've gone 2.5 hours. I'm going to wrap it up here. I appreciate everybody being here, calling, texting, chatting, sending donations, calling me. Yeah, woof. Everybody wants me to go. What's the standard? I have to go 4 hours now on a Saturday or I'm not doing my job? Unbelievable. By college football streaming standards, I go 2.5 hours. Nobody goes that long. You guys are getting me into where if I don't go 4 hours, I've done a disservice to the Irish community. Give me a damn break. Anyways, thank everybody for being here. Texting, messaging, donating, calling, all of it. Anybody who didn't get in, we'll be live again Monday morning if you can make it. I appreciate everybody being here. But this last guy I can't wrap my mind around it. I'm going to spend all the rest of the night trying to make this all make sense. It wasn't a prank call. I would have known Pat's voice. That wasn't him. Good idea, though. Everybody, have a good rest of the night, good rest of the weekend, and we'll talk to you Monday morning. Have a good one.